So, and thinking about your own part in helping this initiative be successful so far and in the future. I know you've talked about sort of what happened in the past. Looking forward, what are some things that you feel like you've done this year and will continue to do to help this stay alive and be, you know, to help the initiative be sustainable and keep it going and keep it moving forward? Just as a leader, how would you say?
Well, I think that one of the issues with lesson planning, and I think this goes back to the paper and pencil days, is, and I don't know about you, but I have submitted lesson plans, and I'd write in the margin, I'd ask questions of my principal, and I did it not necessarily because I was interested in what he had to say. I was interested in whether he was reading it or not, and he wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things about this tool that I think is so powerful, and that I see working, is this ability for feedback from the from the instructional leader of the school. The teacher does a lesson plan, hits submit, and it automatically sends an email to his principal or her principal, and the principal can just pop it, and it pops right up, and then they can take a quick look at it and hit another button, which basically gives them an automatic portal right back to that teacher and says, hey, this looks really great, or you're not really sure, you know, why don't you look at some hands-on manipulatives here, or here's something I did or I saw done that I think would be really effective in this particular situation. You know, or, you know, looking back at the last week, it looks to me like you're just doing a whole lot of paperwork, or maybe you're assigning a lot of homework and you might want to focus that effort, and it's just a way to get an ongoing dialogue. Now, our older teachers are not in love with that, but our newer teachers are asking for it. Right. And if we can continue to, so we're sort of working with them really in that vein. And I've been working with our principals in terms of getting used to this, because we have a number of experienced principals for whom this kind of dialogue is not the norm.
Right.
It's not the thing that they do all the time. I mean, they have this vision of a principal, and I'm not saying this is bad, I'm just saying this is the reality, of really being more of a manager than being an instructional leader. And what we're seeing in this particular tool is it's really taking the principal out of their typical management role and moving them into an instructional leadership role. And it's easy.
Right.
It's not a big painful thing where they have to, and not that it's painful to go into someone's classroom, because I find it quite enjoyable, but you know, it takes time away. Yeah, I'll tell you, it's not going into the classroom that's hard. It's getting up from what you're doing and putting that aside so you can clear your head and go into the classroom and pay attention to what's being taught. That is, you know, it's the getting up from what you were doing that's hard.
Right.
And it's hard to take yourself away from those sort of administrivia tasks that consumes and wastes so much time, when what really matters is what's happening behind the doors of a classroom.
So it's possible that even as principals look at lesson plans and are thinking about giving descriptive feedback, it sounds like. It's not evaluative necessarily. It's not about whether they did a good job or a bad job.
No, it's supportive.
It's supportive
Right.
feedback, so it's really descriptive feedback. It may even encourage principals to be more excited about going into classrooms and spending more time in classrooms, because they become intrigued by what it is they're seeing, or they want to follow up on maybe some of the things that they had some feedback about, or that they had questions about. And so it sounds like what it is it's some data that provides an opening for some collegial discussion, as well as some, you know, discussion between administrator and teacher.
I think I can't say I would like to see it go that direction.